So when it comes to Grim Necromancer is a loyalty class that is only obtainable if you have 600,000 ACs in total on your account. Thus being said, this class is pretty much a glorified version of the Necromancer, which is basically a evolved version. Now, it's not like Lich. I've got some mixed feelings when I was testing this class with Lich and this class. It plays somewhat similar. There's some similar debuffs, so I'm a little bit skeptical about it being Lich compared. That being said, when it comes to this class, there's some noticeable differences in the terms of skill set. Now, the most noticeable is your lifesteal is changed to a heal over time with your third ability. Then your fifth ability is a stacked damage boost, whereas the original is just a flat out value. Now, you also get more mana and you also have an extra damage boost through dot means. So your dot damage is more potent. Now, when it actually comes to the actual skill sets of this class, you need to use 5-4-5 for starting, and you can start with 5-4-5, do 5-3-2-4 to start your combo. It doesn't really matter how you play it, it's just try to get your lower health. Because this class is pretty much an edgelord class. Now, the main damage of this class is through you being low health. Your 2 and your 3 is pretty much your damage spells, because the rest of it is just, you know, buffing yourself and trying to get yourself low health. You do not run into mana problems compared to Necromancer, so you always pretty much stay at full mana. Your health from the third ability gets full depending on the mob you fight. If you're fighting a boss, it sometimes doesn't get that full unless you are dealing with not a hard hitter. Now, when it actually comes to bosses, you want this to be an edgelord, and you know, when you're fighting a boss with a team, your team kind of heals you to full health, so your damage is like, I would say probably a quarter what it should be. It really scales on how low your health is. So in order to do so much damage, you can work around with Penitence and Ravenous to kind of make use of your fifth ability's damage boost that it gives to the class, so your Ravenous can do a lot of damage. Now and again, my two abilities really depends on how low your health is. So if you're fighting a boss and you don't have that much healers, then you can utilize that mechanic. Now when it comes to solo, this class does struggle against bosses that have stuns, or anything that has negative effects to a player in the sense of like curse blades or anything like a dot over time. Now, when it comes to normal bosses, this class does really well to any boss that deals medium to high damage. When I say high damage, like roughly 1,000-ish health, because Penitence does help with some reduction, and your third ability with some of the damage reduction, so you can utilize it as well. Now when it comes to farming, this class has very limited range. Your third ability has long range only. Although the skill set is quite low cooldowns, it does run into, you know, range problems. So you kind of have to make use of that whole routine of trying to get your monster that you're farming. Now the class does deal a lot of damage. You can one-shot pretty much anything above 10,000 health, especially with Ravenous and your first ability. Now when it comes to PvP, it's kind of good and kind of bad at the same time, because you know your dot kind of kills you and you have some good resistance, but then again you are kind of in the position you kind of have to buff yourself, so trying to be utilized inside PvP is an understatement. And it's not that great. And have a nice day. Cheers!